Hi everyone, I've got something really important I want to talk to you all about today. I'm involved in a cause that I'm super proud to be a part of, and it's something really close to my heart, and I'm hoping that maybe some of you guys can help us out with this. Myself and good friend Stephen White have volunteered to raise money to buy an ambulance or a 4x4 evacuation vehicle, and this autumn we're going to drive this to Ukraine to hand it over to its new operators, and it's going to be used to save lives on the front line. This has been put together by an organisation called Driving Ukraine. They've been doing this for a couple of years, looking for volunteers and helping raise money so they can buy emergency vehicles, and then we drive them off to Lviv in Ukraine, hand them over to the new operators where they receive their final modifications, and then they go and help save lives on the front line. I'll explain a little bit more about the vehicles and how these work in a moment. But as many of you know, I've been desperate to help Ukraine in some way since the big Russian invasion kicked off in 2022. I'm too old to go and volunteer and fight, and I've only got like the basic first aid skills that I got from helping with the British Red Cross years ago. They've got people much better situated in Ukraine and foreign volunteers to do these things than me. So when I heard about Driving Ukraine, I realized this is something I can do to help. I can get involved, I can give my time and some money and some effort, and it's something that I can make a difference with. I first heard about Driving Ukraine through an article on Sky News where they had some volunteers on who were talking about their experiences and how they'd raised money to buy an ambulance and go and do this. And as soon as I heard it, I thought, I can help with that. That is something I can actually do. This is going to be so important and so useful. They've also been featured on the BBC and in loads of other press, so do go and have a read up about them. They are an amazing bunch of folks. So how can you guys help? Well, obviously we're looking for donations. We've got to raise about £7,000 to get the vehicle bought, get it kitted out with its new modifications. For example, it needs big off-road tyres for the conditions it's going to be used in. There's other equipment needs buying for it as well. And then that's also going to pay for the fuel for us to drive it all the way to Ukraine. And then for its final modifications in the workshop there, like camouflage, spray paint and other things that they need to be used nearer the front line. If you can donate anything at all to the project, no matter how small, that would be absolutely amazing. But if you can't, then don't worry. You can also help by just sharing this video or sharing the links to our campaign page. Anything on any platform, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you can share it just to get the word out, that would be super useful. So some of you might be wondering, why a 4x4 and not like an ambulance, an ex-NHS vehicle or something that we could get in the UK and take out there? Well, actually, Driving Ukraine have delivered both types of vehicle out there, and they're used for different purposes. When it comes to combat casualty evacuation, ideally from the front line, some sort of armoured fighting vehicle is used to get casualties straight back to like a field dressing station. From there, they're assessed and get some emergency treatment, and then they're put into like a 4x4 evacuation vehicle. The 4x4s are used because they have to go over some pretty rough terrain. We're looking at roads that are maybe got shell damage and bomb damage, driving through muddy fields, forests, small tracks, places where our good old regular British ambulance that we know and love just couldn't go. So the 4x4s are used to get the casualties from there further back to get further treatment, and then they're transferred typically into what we know as an ambulance and taken off to hospital. So the 4x4s are also used for other purposes, like delivering medical supplies, evacuating civilians, and by bomb disposal teams getting equipment up there as well. And if you want to see exactly the sort of thing that the 4x4s have to deal with and go through, then I'd highly recommend you go and watch Hell Jumper on BBC iPlayer if you can. This was on last week. It's an amazing documentary about a guy from Britain called Chris Parry who volunteered to go and help. Now, he's did something much more dangerous than I'm going to do. I'm just going to Lviv to drop off the ambulance and then I'm coming back. He actually went into the combat areas, in the front lines, in these sort of vehicles to rescue trapped civilians, people who got caught up in the fighting, people who were stuck in basements and cellars. It's an awe-inspiring, although sad and tragic story, but I highly recommend you watch it. You'll get an idea of exactly why these vehicles are needed and the sort of plight that's going on in Ukraine at the moment. Chris's dad is also involved with Driving Ukraine, so you can see that this is like a really important cause. So we're going to raise money to buy this vehicle. We're going to get it modified in the UK. How are we going to get it to Ukraine? Well, the route that they've taken in the past is we set off from Oxford. We go via the Channel Tunnel, who very generously offered to take these vehicles for free. They go through freight as humanitarian aid, which is absolutely awesome. And then from there, we drive all the way through Belgium, through, looks like a bit of the Netherlands, Germany, all the way through Poland until we get to Lviv. The schedule is to make this journey in about 3 days, but obviously due to possible problems with traffic on the road, delays at ports and borders and things, issues with the vehicles themselves sometimes. It may take longer, but we will get it there. And then myself and Stephen will be jumping on the first train back after we've met the new operators and handed the vehicle over, and coming back through Poland and probably flying back. Now, I've set an interim goal of £5,000 to get this project started. Ideally, we'd like to raise about £7,000 because that'll fully fund everything that's needed for one of these vehicles and its kitting out. But if we can go above that, that's even better, because that allows Driving Ukraine to fund more projects, buy more equipment, and do all sorts of other awesome things to help Ukraine. As you can see, they have other projects on the go at the moment, funding ambulances and personal first aid kits to be used on the front line, all sorts of amazing things. So if you can spare anything to the cause, if you can donate anything, that'll be absolutely amazing. That'll be really appreciated. If you can't, don't worry. Please just do share this on all your social platforms. Get the word out. Maybe send it to some friends, email someone you know, or some local businesses that might like to sponsor it. Anyone you think might be interested, please just get the word across. That can be as big a help as donations sometimes. It'll be really appreciated. So I just want to say thanks again. We, of course, will update you on the progress, and I'm sure there'll be some videos and pictures taken of the trip when it takes place, which we'll update you all so you can see how we've got on. I just want to say thanks very much in advance, and I hope that we can make quite a difference to some of our friends in Ukraine.